Hello and welcome to Veggie Patch Ideas. Today we're going to do a bit of gardening and a bit of a plot tour, something different for you to get you involved. It's very hot here today, it's absolutely scorching, and looking at the thermometer in here, it's 35 degrees in the polytunnel, so summer has arrived. Let's take you on a tour around the plot, see what we've got going on and cooking, see what's in the soil and what's going in, and then we'll talk you through what's happening in here. Alright, so here we go. Let's take a look of seeing what's happening. And first of all, straight into a plot. And we're into our low tunnel. And in here, it's full of lettuce. These have just been planted on. And these are Grenoble red. And just all year round green lettuce. So that's doing really well. And then moving on to our first bed, and this is for the beans. So we've got French beans in the first one. You zoom in here, these are just starting to come through. Then moving on to the perennial spinach. These have gone in and they've not been attacked at all, so we're on to a winner with these straight away. And these have been in for about 2 weeks now, so they're good to go. And then next to them we have our yard long beans, and these aren't really doing anything. I'm slightly concerned, but give it time, give it time. So moving away from here, we have our potato bed, and this has been planted up in succession. So the first row was 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, and they should ripen or be ready at different times, which is how I want them. And then next to them we have a few lines of onions, which you can never have too many onions in my opinion. And moving on, and this has just been planted out, it's the courgettes. These are Black Beauty courgettes. And on the trellis we've got our sugar snap peas, which half have been attacked and half haven't, so we'll see where we go with those. And moving on to our kale bed. This hasn't really started to kick in just yet, but the weather hasn't been good. Hopefully this week we should see something. If not, I've got some black kale to go in, which is looking very, very good. And at the end of here I've just put 2 Brussels sprouts. These have come a long way, so these went in yesterday, which is all good, and they've not been attacked yet, so I'm happy about that. Next to these we have a garlic, and this is looking absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful, followed by an entire bed of onions. And that's the first part of the plot. So let's go on through and let's see what we've got going. While we're here, I don't normally mention these, but I do have 2 fruit trees which have been pleached. 1 apple, 1 pear on the side, and they're on the north side of the polytunnel. They've been in bloom, so they will fruit this year. We'll go the polytunnel from the other way, so we've got a better angle on the sun. Our leek bed, that's coming up. So these will be harvested, I keep saying that. And then we've got our asparagus bed, and we're just seeing signs of life. Don't know if you can pick that up, but just a couple have come through. And let's move out onto the new plot. We have our compost heap doing wonders. And then moving across, this is the no dig bed, which I've now named it, because I am going to do it in the style of no dig. So just a layer of compost and then plant into it. First up we've got our sweet corn, which is doing absolutely fantastic. And I put this little cover over it to stop the birds eating it. And then ruby streak mustard on the end. And then we're going to follow that along with our planting of leeks. And if you haven't seen our leek video, I'm going to link it on the top. Absolutely fantastic video. Nothing planted up the top, just the remainder of the strawberries. So a full bed of strawberries here, and then rhubarb, which is looking very, very desperate indeed. Followed on by a massive row of raspberry bushes. This currently is a spare bed. And then in here, I've just filled them. They are ready for the dahlias to go in. So here we go. Grass seed has been sown here, but it's very, very dry. And we have started to fill our compost bins. So that should break down very, very nicely. And then over into the greenhouse, and this will become the chilli house. As you could imagine, we've got courgettes, tomatoes, bit of everything really, sweet corn, melons, more dahlias, more tomatoes, Brussels sprouts, peppers, and cucumbers, all waiting to go in. And now we've got a better angle on the sun, so we've got a bed of lettuce all the way down here, and these are growing out nicely and they like the shade actually. So then we've got our ruby streak mustard, and to the end we've got spinach. Under the little table we've got our bed of carrots, and it's a green oasis in here at the moment. We've got our blueberries. Let's shut this door. These are coming on very well, and they have just come into bud. So blueberries will be happening this year. Let's take you down to the ground level. This is a Kalana kimchi, and it has gone, it's bolted, so this will all be coming out very, very soon. And if you can see, I've now got a new favourite lettuce, and it's this one. It's called Moon Red. It's an absolute delight, and the slugs don't really eat it that much, so we're on to a winner with that one. And it continues down here. All this needs harvesting, and then this side needs clearing out today to make room for the tomatoes. At the top, moving up, we've got our strawberries, and these are a little bit behind where they should be. They should be starting to fruit now, but the weather's been so bad it just hasn't. So another couple of weeks on those and we'll be good. And we've got everything in the holding pattern. So our dahlias, they are now sprouting. And these are almost ready to go in the ground. But do make sure you protect them against slugs, however you do that. Tomatoes are waiting. More spinach is waiting to go in. A tray of beautiful jalapeno peppers, purple sprouting broccoli. It's all here. It's all ready to go. Let's get around the other side for that one. Sugar snap peas, 2 trays, and some dwarf red beans. They'll be going in as well. So you can see we've got a lot going on, and even more to come. We're only getting started into the season, and it is all really ramping up. But we're kind of close on that time where we switch the polytunnel over from our spring greens to our hot season stuff, our tomatoes, our chilies, and everything else in between. So we're going to pull up some stuff now, prep the bed, and plant a few in. And as I harvest, the bed will become more and more summer. So let's do a section of that now. So here we go, on the side we're going to put 2 aubergines in. And this is lovely soil. It's well rotted manure. With just normal soil. And what I like to do, I like to bank up the soil around. When I water, this will fill up and it'll make that little puddle and it'll soak into the roots. And then in front of the aubergines, I'm going to go with a couple of peppers. Now, I had reserved the greenhouse mainly for peppers, but I've sown far too many and they've all come through, which is a good thing. And these are the jalapeno peppers. And these can be planted deep. You'll see where the stem goes brown. So you can plant right up until this first leaf. And then these will root off the side, make a better root ball, and then it can soak up more nutrients basically. So let's pop that in. So it's turned out to be an absolute stonker of a day. And we've got this bed here. This is a new bed on the new plot. And this is going to be dedicated to dahlias. So let's find some gaps. We want 6 in here. Right, so these are more than ready to go in. I'll put some well rotten manure in there to get it going. Good root system. And we want the rhizome, so the part of the plant looks like a root, to be sat on the top so that can bake in the sun and produce those lovely flowers. And then the slugs do love these, by the way. So do whatever you can to protect them. Got a big pot, this one. Slightly proud of the soil. Let that cook away. And this is Dahlia Pom Pom. Hoping this one's going to start shooting. I can see some signs of life. Not a lot. An absolute belter of a day. It's rooting. That's a good thing. Won't be long. Now here's a job I've been waiting to do for quite a while. And that's the dwarf French beans. We've got the bed all nicely prepared. And we're just going to put a line all the way along. Like a step over bush, essentially. So we can lay these out if you're concerned about spacing. And these are just about ready now. So there you go. Right. So we'll move them up slightly and that'll give them plenty of room to get in. And it's just a simple case of you don't need to bury these too deep. Just work your way across the line, and the slugs do love these. So once they're in, however you manage your slugs, if you net them, if you put pellets down, protect them, especially if we're in for some rain, which we are here. We're in for some rain for a few days. So I'll protect these, and then we'll see what happens when I come back to see them later on in a few days' time. So put our label in and we'll just continue the line. If they are heavily root bound, you can just break them up and we'll see how these get on. And guys, just a quick one, look at the polytunnel, look at the state of this. Everything has absolutely bolted. So I was going to work my way through the spring crop into summer, but it looks like this past 3 days of extreme heat have just absolutely mullered my kimchi, which is a Chinese cabbage, or Chinese broccoli as it was. But on the upside, the strawberries are almost ready, and I've just harvested a punnet. Now, I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but this onion has bolted. It's been so hot over the last few days and the onions have bolted, so they've gone to seed, and this is an absolute nightmare for onion growers. But we have plenty, so I'm not too concerned. What generally means is you can either cut the top off and hope it continues to grow, and we hope we've caught it early. If not, this onion won't grow anymore. It'll hold all right in the ground for a couple of weeks more, but you will need to use it up sooner rather than later. Generally, when these get too big, it spells the end of your onion growing season. So fingers crossed we've caught it early. Guys, as you could imagine, this is one of the busiest times of the year for us, and there's plenty more jobs where that came from. We'll catch you on the next video.